We're going to start off by making a slip knot. Grab the tail end of your yarn, wrap it around your finger once and twice, holding it there, holding it down there. Pass your back loop halfway over your finger, hold it there, pass the other loop all the way over and pop your hook in like so. And now we're going to make chains, and a chain is yarn over your hook, pull a loop through, 1, yarn over, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. When you want to grow your corner to corner, you need to have 6 chains all the time. Now we're going to do double crochet US or treble UK into the 4th chain from your hook. What I like to do here though, I find it easier to count 3 chains back. So if you're going to pop your last double crochet here, it's 1, 2 and 3. So yarn over your hook and you're popping your hook into your 3rd last chain. Or you can do it the other way, 4 across. I just find it easier to go backwards, 1, 2 and 3. Let's get a close up so you can see what I'm doing. All right, there we go. So it's 1, 2 and 3. So I go into the 3rd last chain, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2, yarn over your hook and do it again in the very next chain. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2, yarn over your hook, pop your hook in that very last chain, just a top loop, yeah, pull a loop through like so, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2. So what you have is your 1 double crochet, 2, 3, 3 chains. Sort of acts as a double crochet but doesn't, because you use it later as a space. But for now, we're just going to call it a double crochet. From here, you're turning your work like so. This is a part that a lot of people have problems with, but it's actually as simple as we did the chains here. You're doing your 6 chains, so 1, 2, don't let go of your work, yeah, 3, 4, 5 and 6, yarn over your hook. You're doing the same thing you did before. You can either count across 4 chains this way or do what I did and go the 3 chains back. Now this is where a lot of people mess up the differences between the chains. That's your final chain, 2 and 3 back. Pop your hook in that 3rd chain, pull a loop through, try not to move your piece, yarn over, doing your double crochet. So the initial starting is a little difficult because this can turn around. So try not to let go of your piece, yarn over your hook into your 2nd chain with your double crochet. All right, and again yarn over your hook into your last chain. Once again, you could have counted 4 across rather than 3 back. I just find the 3 back helps me find the last stitch that I first counted with. All right, so now we're going to pop our hook in that chain 3 space like I mentioned before. It's going to be used as like a stitch, if you will, but not so much, it's a space, yeah? So keeping it nice and straight, don't let go or it'll flip back, yeah? So pop your hook in the space, pull a loop through, just tighten it up a little bit and just pull it through to the loop on your hook. That's called a slip stitch. Now from here, we're going to chain 3. Yarn over your hook once, 2 and 3. Still classifies as a double crochet, but is also the chain 3 space in this pattern. So yarn over your hook in the same space, you are placing 3 double crochets. Double crochet US, treble UK, we've been doing them now, so you know how to do them. 1, 2, and 3. And at this stage, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to show you quickly. You've formed your first corner, okay? That's your first part, your second, and the trick to this particular piece as well, for every row that you do, the first row is 1 square, the second row 2 squares. 2 squares this way, 2 blocks, if you will. 2 blocks this way, 2 blocks that way and 2 blocks up the top. So it shows you the amount of rows that you've done, even if you've forgotten. So that's the bonus about this particular piece. So at the end of each row, you turn your work and you start again with the chain 6. So yarn over your hook 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Yarn over your hook, we're going to do our 3 double crochets again. So you go 1, 2 and 3 chains across, or 4 this way, whichever's easier for you. Okay, let me try the 4. It's actually from here 1, 2, 3 and 4. All right, so whatever's easier for you to look at it, the visual, that's the way you count. I've always counted 3 backwards, but I know a lot of people count 4 across. So do your double crochet 1, keeping your C2C still, and then you're doing your second one, 2 and 3. It does look like you've made 4 because you did the chain 3 in the beginning. So from here, we're going to start filling in the spaces on the inside, still slip stitching into a chain 3 space. So this row that we do right here is going to be your repeat row until you finish increasing your square. So into your space, you pop your hook in, you pull a loop through, and you're slip stitching it into that stitch on your hook, chain 3. 1, 2 and 3, yarn over your hook, into the space, pull a loop through and do your 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. From here you're going to slip stitch into that final chain 3 space. So into the space, pull a loop through, pull it through to the loop on your hook, chain 1, 2 and 3. Let's bring that out a little bit. Yeah. And we're going to do your 3 double crochets across. So 1, 2 and 3. Flip your work and we're going to start with chain 6 again. So yarn over your hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Once again, your 3 across. So where are we? Might need to get close for this. All right, so it's 1, 2 and 3. So I go there in that third last stitch with my double crochet. The idea with corner to corner is to not let go of your piece in the beginning. After a while, you kind of get used to where you're popping your hook. Okay, so just at the beginning, you need to hold everything. And I'm on my 3rd stitch. And there we go. Now, if that was wrong and you'd be up here, you'd have a big gap in there, but you don't have that big gap. The stitch is connected to your piece, yeah? So once again, you're slip stitching into the chain 3 space, pop your hook in the space, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook, chain 3. Okay, now this part it's just the same, chain 1, 2 and 3. And you're doing your 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the very next, you've got a second one here, into the very next space, pull a loop through, pull it through to the loop on your hook, chain 1, 2 and 3. I'm going to give you another tip in a minute. And then your 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3. All right, now we have that final chain 3 space up the top. You slip stitch in, you pull a loop through, pull it through to the loop on your hook, chain 1, 2 and 3, and 3 double crochets, 1, 2 3. All right. So we are here. Once again, counting your blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our 4th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But if you were to think about the corner to corner as a simple piece, all you need to think about is 3, 3, and 3, okay? So you've got your chain 3, your 3 double crochets across, your slip stitching into your chain 3 space. In the beginning you have 6 chains, but you are placing your double crochet, your first one, in your 3rd last chain. Everything is 3 in a corner to corner. So after a while, that 3, 3, 3 factor comes into play and you don't have to worry about thinking. You can do this in front of the television, all right? So the idea now is to grab your favourite cup and place it on your piece and decide how big you want your, let me bring that out a little bit. Let's go like that. No, it's not working. Let's try that again. All right, so you can decide how big you want yours to be. Now what I'm going to do is do 6 rows. We've done 4 so far. I need to do another 2 more rows, right? So I'm going to do 2 more rows because we are going to have about, I don't know, a centimetre worth, centimetre and a half worth of a border round. So it's entirely up to you how big you want your piece to be. Okay, we're going to continue like normal. Okay, this is where we ended off. Yep, flip your work like you're starting a new row, which you are. And we're going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yarn over your hook. Remember we're counting back by 3 or over by 4, whichever's easier for you. So where are we? 2 and 3. Oops, there. Okay, do your double crochet, 1 into your second last one, 2, and 1 into your last one, 3. I've done that one very tight, but it's definitely there. All right, so now we are slip stitching over to our first space, yeah, and chain 1, 2, 3, doing your 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so what we want to do here is I'm going to pop this on fast. I'm not going to let you head off on your own, so you can probably slow your video down, but I'm going to skip and jump into the very next space, the next space, and the third. So 1, 2, 3. And 3. All right, so that is the end of this row. Okay, so once again, this is the 5th row. So you go 1 block, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I calculated for my cup that I needed 6 blocks or 6 rows. So I'm going to turn my work and do 1 more row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yarn over your hook. And we're going back again, 1, 2, and 3. And doing your double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. The final one right there. Okay, so now we're going to jump into each block across like we've been doing all along. And once again, I'm going to pop this on fast. Okay, but you can watch and you can slow down your video if you like. So slip stitch across into your first block and off we go. 3. All right, so there we go. So now I have 1 block, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Over here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and across the front 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 blocks. So I know so far I'm correct. Now that's going to change as of now, right now, this very second. All right, so what you're going to do here is you're not going to chain 6 anymore. If you want to do another row and you need your blocks bigger, go ahead now, pause the video here, go and do another row and meet us back here once you're done. But for everybody else, we're flipping our work. We're going to start decreasing. Starting from here, we're going to chain 1, slip stitch back into that same stitch that we are in. So pop your hook in, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Go to the very next stitch and you're going into the stitch with the 2 loops on top, pull a loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook 2. Go into the next one, pull a loop through and pull a loop through 3. All right, from here we're going to go into the space with our 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and like normal we're just going to slip stitch into the very next space and continue doing our clusters across or sets across. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so when we do our cluster sets across here, I still need you to go across, but when you get to that final space, don't do it, okay? I'm going to pop this on fast for you, but don't finish your set here because we're not doing a cluster set in there anymore. Okay, so just get to this one here. I'm going to pop it on fast and off we go. One, 2, 3. 1, 2 and 3. This is our second last set right there. All right, let me bring that out. Okay, so the way it looks now, so far we're not including this one here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets across. Now this is where it starts to decrease and your sides start to straighten up. Now we've straightened up this area, now we've got to straighten up this area here. So here you are not putting your set in there. What you're doing is slip stitching into it, chaining 1 and turning. So you pop your hook into the space, slip stitch like normal. Yeah. Then you chain 1, flip your work, and remember before how we slip stitched across here by 3. So pop your hook in the very first stitch. That's your very first stitch of that set. So 1, slip stitch, 2, slip stitch, 3, slip stitch, and then you are chaining your 3. 1, 2 and 3. Yarn over your hook. Now consider this a repeat row if you will, okay? So it's a double crochet into your space. 1, 2 and 3. All right, and then you are slip stitching into your next set like normal. You're doing your sets across like normal. When you get to this one, you don't complete it. All right, so it's going to start shrinking now. So we're just going to 2 and 3. We're just going to go across now and continue until we get to that set. I'm going to pop this on fast and off we go. 2 and 3. All right, so what I asked you to do was to get to this last set right here. This is no longer your last set, and you can start to see how that is straightening up. So this is your last set. And if you want to know what we're up to, we've done 1, 2, 3, 4 sets across. All right, so we're going to slip stitch into that space like normal, chain 1, turn our work. All right, and once again slip stitch 3 across. So you're going to your first stitch, pull the loop through, second, pull the loop through, third, pull the loop through, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Pop your 3 double crochets in the same space. 2, 3. And then you are slip stitching across like normal. You've only got 2 blocks, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch into your next set. 1, 2, 3. And do your set. All right, and then you're slip stitching into your last set. Pull the loop through, chain 1, turn your work. Now you have 1 and 2, well, you actually have 3 sets, but you will only have 2 spaces to fill. Okay, so once again, slip stitching across, 1, 2, 3, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Just remember your 3, 3, 3s, yeah? 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch into your next space there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And once again, you're at the end, slip stitch into that last one, chain 1, turn your work. Slip stitch 3 across, 1, 2, 3. This is your last set, okay? So chain 1, 2, 3, and you do your 3 double crochets in that space like normal. 1, 2, and 3. Slip stitch into your last space. Now you can't leave it like that because it will sit awkwardly. So what you need to do here is chain 1, flip your work, and you're going to slip stitch across. So 1, 2, and 3 like normal. From here, you're going to chain 1 and single crochet in the same stitch. Now a single crochet US, double crochet UK, you're popping your hook just in the stitch, no yarn over. Just pop your hook into the same stitch you are in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. You're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to single crochet back into the same stitch. So pop your hook into the stitch, pull a loop through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both those loops. What we can do here, if you like, and I think it's a good idea, is to pop a stitch marker into that space. You can use a piece of thread, a safety pin, paper clip, hairpin, whatever you have. All right. So now you're chaining 3. 1, 2, and 3. From here, you're going to jump into that space right there, the very first space you come to, not in any stitch, just in a space, and do a single crochet like that. All right, and then you're going to do it again, chain 1, 2, 3, and into the very next space. So jumping over your cluster set into your space with your single crochet. A quick tip, if you wanted to, you could use a different colour here for this part. It does make your work look pretty. You could use a cream or a white and then use the purple for the next round. Okay, we are working in a round now, no longer rows. Okay, so chain 3, 2, 3, move it aside and you find that space and you do your single crochet. Don't leave that too tight and don't leave it too loose. 1, 2, 3, so you know where I'm going, just into the space there, nice and close. 1, 2, 3. Now you've got a space right there. And now we're going to do our chain 3 and pop our hook in that tight corner. So 1, 2, 3. And you need to grab your hook and it needs to go right into the corner. Now if you're struggling, you can just pop it in the space, but it does actually need to be in a stitch and not the space. There you go, it does go in. Okay, so you pull a loop through and you can see the little loop there, yeah? And you do your single crochet like normal, yeah? Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This is a corner, so we're popping our single crochet back into the space, into the same stitch, yeah? And do your single crochet, and there's your corner. Again, pop your second stitch marker, piece of thread, paper clip, whatever you have, in that corner. So what you have now is that first side done. Okay, once again you're chaining 1, 2, 3, and you're going to jump into your first space right there. Make sure you don't miss that first space or your work will pull. 1, 2, 3, into the second space. 1, 2, 3, into the space. 1, 2, 3. You can separate it like I've done there if you struggle to see, and you can find the space. 1, 2, 3. There's your very last space before the corner. Now here we have a tail, all right? The tail is something that we're going to weave in later, but chain your 1, 2, 3. And find the stitch in that corner that you want to pop your hook in. Just pass your tail at the back because this is now the right side of your work. Okay, so just pass your tail at the back and do your single crochet. Chain 1, 2, 3, single crochet back into that space, like that. And later we're going to weave that tail end in. In the meantime, grab your stitch marker and pop it in that corner there. Once again, you're going to do that all the way across until you get to this corner, and I'm going to pop this on fast. Okay, we're close to the corner now. 1, 2, and 3. So this area is a little tricky. You can decide where you want to go. You can either go into the top chain there, or you can go into the base stitch of that third double crochet. I might do the base stitch of that third double crochet only because it's easy to get into, but you can do whichever one you want. And then you go chain 1, 2, 3, pop that second single crochet in the same space like so, and there you go. Grab your last stitch marker and pop it into that final corner before the end of your side. All right, this is the last side we're working on. So chain 1, 2, 3, and of course single crochet in the very first space you see. All right, so we are at the last set because that's our very first start of the round. Okay, so we're going to do our normal single crochet just before the one we've already done. Yeah, from here we are chaining 1, 2, 3, and we are slip stitching into not so much the first space, but the stitch that we first did, that very first single crochet that we did right there. All right, so slip stitch into that single crochet. This is the chain 3 space that we put our stitch marker in. I probably should have put one in that stitch for you, but you can see it. It's a little higher than the rest, okay? So pop your hook in, pull a loop through, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Now, if you're wanting to change colours here, then I would pull up a loop, cut your thread, and change colours here. But for me, to keep in sync with this one piece, I'm going to slip stitch into the next corner. If you're going to change colours, just add your new colour in the next corner. So pop your hook into the corner, pull a loop through, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Remove your stitch marker for a moment. And we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And this is where we will add our stitch marker. Can be a little tricky, but it's the top 2 loops of that stitch that you just finished. The third stitch. 1 underneath and 2 on top. And now we're going to place a treble in that space. That's treble US, double treble UK. So yarn over your hook twice. So it goes once and twice. So normally we just go once, we pop our hook in. Yeah, but now we're doing twice. 1 and 2. Into the same space you are in, pull a loop through. You should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2. 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through the next 2. 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through both those loops. You're going to do 2 more of these, okay? So yarn over your hook twice into the space and do just that. 4, 2, 3, 2, 2, complete it. And we do it again, okay? 4, 3, 2. All right, now we do just a normal double crochet. But before we do, grab yourself another stitch marker. All right, this one's closed, okay. And just pop it in. You probably should have done that on the second one, but that's the one we just completed. We want to pop our stitch marker on that second one right there. All right. So you've got your chain 3, which will act as a double crochet here. Then you've got your first treble, and your second treble should have your stitch marker. All right. And now we're going to pop a double crochet in the same space like so. And that's actually your pattern for the corner. All right. Now you have spaces that you're going to go into, all these chain 3 spaces that we made before. And you're going to put 3 double crochets in each space. And you've done double crochets throughout the piece, so you know. 1, just going into the space, 2, and 3. 3 into the next space. You're skipping your single crochets from the previous round, and you are doing 3 double crochets in each space. Like that. And it should look like that. Alright, so continue skipping the single crochet and doing your 3 double crochets all the way across until you get to your next corner. I'm not going to pop this part on fast because we're relatively close and I just want to show you what to do. Skip the single into your space with your 3 double crochets. Sorry about that noise, that's the stitch markers on the table. I'm sorry guys. Skip 3 double crochets. Alright, now there is a space before your corner. Don't forget that space. Can look like not a space and you could miss it. Don't forget it. So do your 3 double crochets in that space. 1, 2, 3. All right, so if you were to count your sets across, ignoring your corner set, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is what you should have because we had 6 blocks across, okay? So 6 blocks and then 2 corners along each side. We're about to complete the next corner. So to do the next corner, you're going to jump into the corner with 1 double crochet like normal. And then you're going to put your 3 trebles, but we're going to do 1 for now. So yarn over your hook twice, into the space, pull a loop through, 4 loops, yarn over 2, 3 loops, yarn over 2, 2 loops, yarn over 2. Now the next one we put in, that's where we place our stitch marker in. So yarn over your hook twice, into the space, complete your set, like that. Remove your stitch marker in the space and pop it in that top stitch that we just completed, doing 1 more treble in the space, like so, and then a double crochet in the same space, and so that's what you've done. 1 double, 3 trebles and 1 double, and you've placed your stitch marker on the second treble. Okay, so the reason I'm being very thorough there is because I would like for you to head off on your own and do just that. Complete the sets until you get to your next corner, make your corner exactly the same way you did this, complete your sets until you get to this corner, make the corner the same way you've done this one, and then get to this section right here. All right, so what you need to have is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets across 2 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets across 2 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets across 2 corners, and then just go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 sets. But don't do anything here, all right? So just complete all of that until you get to here. Meet me there once you're done, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Here we are at the end of the round. Remember, you should have 4 corners and 6 sets in between each. Right now, I only have 5 sets on my last side because I haven't completed that 6th set right there. So I'm going to complete that 6th set. 1, 2, and 3. Let's try that again. 3. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the stitch with the stitch marker in it, the very first one. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, pull it through to the loop on your hook, pull up a loop, and give your work a cut before you do. Make sure that everything is correct. Give it a cut there, just pull that thread through like so. Remove that stitch marker. You don't need the first one anymore. You do need the corners there. Real quickly, we are going to turn our work over. We're going to weave in these 2 ends, all right? With that first end right there, all I want you to do real quickly, it's an easy end, this one, to weave in, that first one. It's usually the last one that can be a tad difficult. So let's just do that first end real quickly. This is the tail that we started off with when we first started our block, if you will. Alrighty, so what we're going to do, our knot is right here. You need to go into that loop right there. Just a loop, any loop you see. Go in and just pull it through like so. Then you are going to go into this stitching here. Trying not to make the needle visible here at all. Alright, so just go into that little stitching right there. It's going to be a little tight, that's normal. And then you're going to weave your thread in and out of this set of stitches. So do just that. Now I'm not just weaving, I'm splitting the yarn on the inside. So make sure this is all correct before you do this part, because once you start splitting yarn, it's going to be hard to take undone. All right. So just, it's tight too. So pull it through like so. Then go back the other direction and do exactly the same, making sure you can't see the needle from the front, and pull it through. That is so tight, there's no way that's coming undone. So I'm going to leave that one right there. All right, so leave your stitch markers in still, guys. You need them there. The next tail, real quickly, we'll do that one as well. Thread your needle like so. All right, so this is the tricky one. A lot of people find this very difficult. You know, you could have used a fancy way of joining, but I'm not going to worry too much about that today. What we're going to do is just go, you can go that way or you can go this way, whatever suits you. I'm just going to turn my piece over and go through a back loop of one of these stitches, you know, just one of the back loops there, and pull that down there. And your knot kind of hides at the back, okay? Then I'm going to bring that thread down the stitch, keep going down the stitch like so. Just making sure, sorry, that you can't see the thread from the front. I pulled that a little too tight there. Once I'm down here, I'm going to go in and out of that set. All right, now these stitch markers right here, they are there so that you can do your tassels. To do your tassels, you need to grab some sort of square or rectangle piece, whether it's a cardboard, CD, DVD, whatever you've got, a book, whatever you've got in stock, and grab your thread and place it in front, holding it there, yeah? And you're going to wrap your thread around it 5 times, okay? So once, twice, 3 times, 4, and 5, okay? There's no right or wrong way, okay? First thing you need to do is hold everything steady, and you're going to cut the base first. Must be the base where that tail is, right there. You're going to cut that. Then hold it steady. You're going to cut the actual base itself. So pop your scissors in and cut the base, still holding it nice and steady. Grab that top piece and your first set of tassels are ready to go. So now you want to grab your square. Wherever you see a stitch marker, you're just going to pop your hook in, but that's the right side of our work still. The best way to do this is to pop your hook through the back of your piece there, okay? Then you grab your tassels and, you know, as center as you can. We're going to cut it as well anyway. Pop them all on the hook like so. Let me get you a close up. And you're going through that stitch of the stitch marker where we had the stitch marker. Just pull it through like that, okay? And then just pop your fingers in there, grab your tassels and just, or your threads, and just pull them through like so, and it will do that there for you. All right, so what you have is a bit messy there. Don't worry about that. We're going to sort that out later. What you need to do is do 1, 2, and 3 more exactly the same as we've done this one. I want you to do that off air, and then meet me back here and we will talk about trimming them and making them the length that you would like. All right, so go ahead and do your next 3 corners. Get them ready like this. Meet me back here and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. So all our tassels are complete now. If you wanted to place a tassel in the center of your pieces as well, or even if you wanted to place them in each set, place them in the center stitch of each set if you wanted to, right? If you wanted to place them just one in the center, you count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So maybe right there in the center between those 2 sets, you could do that. Otherwise, that's what we're doing so far. The other thing is we'd like to make all our tassels exactly the same size. So what I thought, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I'm going to grab a little measuring tape and measure whatever I can across. Now I'm going to go for 6 centimeters. The only reason I'm doing that is because we have 6 rows, but you might like yours, maybe I will do 7 We'll do 7 first, and that's from, let's see, I'll show you where it's from. It's from that knot onwards, and if you're going to be completely and utterly pedantic, you would use your measuring tape and you would cut along there, all right? And then you would go and do exactly the same for all the other pieces that you have here. Now, you could have done your wraps for your tassels. You could have done 6, 7, 8, 10, 5, 3, 2, 1, whichever wraps you wanted to do. Maybe more than 2, at least more than 3, I think, would benefit, all right? But I just did the 5 for the sake of doing 5, all right? Once again, there's my 7. I'm going to grab that piece and just cut along the 7. And of course, if you're out by a tiny, tiny little millimetre, it's not going to be noticed. But you can make yours longer, okay? You can make yours as long as you want. You've got a lot of tassels there. You could leave them like that and just straighten up the edges a little bit, yeah? But I'm just going to make mine all the same size just to be in sync. And 7, 6, I was going to make them 6, but it didn't seem long enough for me just looking at it. So I'm going to do the 7, all right? So 7 from the knot onwards, which is right there. And again, if I'm off by a tiny, tiny little millimetre, it's not going to be noticed, all right? So there you go. And there you have Franca's corner to corner mug rug.